All right, happy Monday, guys. Favorite day of the week. And also, we have Danielle as our speaker tonight. So I am so excited and happy to have her tonight. But of course, we will start with recognition. Just a couple things. The Mix Bikes are launching tomorrow to the US. Even though we're not from the US, you can still take advantage of this launch and, start following people from the States, start reaching out to people. You might even have leads that are from the States. So make sure you are emailing them and just letting them know all about it. So I will mute myself and we will do some recognition.
I'll go. I wanted to shout out my coach, Caitlin Watson. I see she's on here, and I know she wanted to kind of recommit to her business. So this is a great start. And I also wanted to shout out my new coach, Sammy. She's on this call with her like 4-week old baby. So welcome.
Hi, thank you.
I want to shout out my coach Savannah. Today she did a call to action on her feed, and she really worked on mapping out her business. I also want to shout out Maya. She had knee surgery and she's still showing up. So shout out to you too.
I want to shout out Charlie because, as always, she's killing it. She's made some big life choices this weekend and done some really exciting things out of her comfort zone. So I'm really proud of you. And I know it's just the beginning of some exciting stuff.
I want to give a shout out to Karina, who officially got her invite to be a part of the next test group, which is for Job One, the new program that will be coming out in December. So super excited for her. Happy to see her hard work being rewarded.
I would like to shout out everyone who is back to school and on this call right now and who is a student and anyone who is really just into a different routine. I know some of you are back to teaching and in the school board, and all of you are continuing to show up and show up for your business. So shout out to all of you.
Shout out to Nicole. She locked in Emerald on Thursday last week, and she's also one person away from month 1 Success Starter.
Amazing. Can I do a shout out? Can I shout out all the ladies who are this time next week? We're going to be in Arizona. Shauna, Rachel, Shelby, Alicia, myself. When the last time this event happened live, guys, was 2 years ago. And I was by myself, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I did a live on the Inspire Tribe trip page, like crying out of anxiety that I had to go into this big group of like echelon of Beachbody royalty by myself. And I was like, don't you guys dare make me go do this alone again. Like I was drinking freaking White Claws for freaking breakfast. And now all of these people, we're going to be all there together, and then next year even more of you guys. So I just want to give everybody a shout out. That's a big freaking deal. So please keep your eyes set and forward, and those dreams big.
I'm really sorry. I have a few more, but I kind of just forgot. I'm still kind of on pain meds. And I wanted to shout out Crystal for showing up on her honeymoon when she was in Greece like the last week. And I wanted to shout out Brianna Pollard because that girl is so freaking consistent. It's ridiculous. Thanks, Charlie. I also wanted to shout out everyone who's still committed to 645. I was having like some chats with girls who are still doing it, and I know like some of you are getting to the finish line. It can get tough. but it's worth it. And I'm so excited to see everybody's results. And I'm having major FOMO already. So very excited. And okay, now I'm done.
Maya, you're so cute. Okay, if no one else has any recognition, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce Danielle. So I'm sure everyone knows Danielle, but of course wanted to have her come in and speak because she is somebody that I've looked up to, Shelby's looked up to, a lot of people on this team have always looked up to. Her leadership is so inspiring because she literally wants every single person to succeed, and she's always been our biggest cheerleader. Danielle has been in this business for almost 9 years at the end of this month. She has hit Success Club 10 for 107 months in a row. She is a 7-star diamond in her first CBC, 2-star in her second CBC, and diamond in her third CBC. She is a 2021 elite coach. We all hit that together. And she's rebuilt this business 4 times. So she is like the perfect example to talk all about vision and long term. So that's what she's going to talk about tonight. So thank you so much, Danielle.
Of course, I am just so when Shauna reached out, she's like, can you speak to our team next week? I was like, of course, absolutely, of course. Any opportunity I have to connect with you guys, it is selfishly, I get back tenfold. And that is the truth. And thank you so much for that introduction. But what's so true about that introduction is that I want you guys to succeed so much. Like, I want you guys to succeed so much. So when I'm going to preface this, what I'm going to say to you guys, and like, please ask questions at the end. I have everything in a Google Doc, but it didn't make its way this evening to a spreadsheet, or sorry, to a PowerPoint. So I apologize, but I am going to get you guys to write things down. So whether you are going to type in the chat, write in a scribbler, or on your iPad, please be prepared. Grab something while I talk here. I'm going to get you guys to do a little bit of work here tonight. And so when your upline or your sponsor, gives you things, tools, encouragement, shows you, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. A lot of times, that can be uncomfortable, or it can just be sometimes overwhelming because everything is new, especially if you're new to this business, or if you're going through a tough season while you're working your business. But you need to know that when Shauna says, we want you to succeed, there is nothing more than the truth behind that. There's nothing more than the truth behind that, because your success isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about people's lives changed. It's about the impact that is boomerangs from that experience of changing somebody else's life, and what that means for your self-worth, your fulfillment, your self-esteem, how you go forward, and the energy you bring to the world, to your family, to your relationships, to your day job, to your children. Fill in the blank, right? So this is a circle that gives to itself over and over and over again. So I'm going to preface this call with anything that seems tough, love. Remember, the word love is in there. Remember, the word love is in there, because love is tough. Do you know what I mean? Love is tough. Okay. No matter, like, that's what this world is, right? So first of all, when I started this business 9 years ago, so it'll be 9 years, October the 1st, I'll tell them really quick, I was broke as a joke. I could not afford my $365 American challenge pack that came with 1 workout set of DVDs, okay, and a bag of chocolate Shakeology Whey, old formula, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? It was that or Greenberry. And my dad put it on his credit card for me, and I vowed I was going to figure this out. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have social media. I didn't even have Facebook. And I was still able to realize that what this business is about is leading from the front, leading with your own story, and changing people's lives. Is leading from the front, leading with your own story, and changing people's lives. Okay. And so what's going to happen, because you come into this business and maybe you already have that vision. Maybe you already have that why. And then you come against a piece of resistance. I think it's Shay. Yeah. So you come against a piece of resistance. So I'm going to get you guys to raise your hand, or you can put in the chat. Maybe your spouse or roommate is like, what the heck are you doing? And what are you getting yourself into? Anybody? Okay. Right. Then maybe it's a parent, or again, a spouse or a partner who's like, how much money are you putting, like, how much is this costing you? Right? Like, what are you getting out of it versus what it's like, all of the resistance. Okay. And then you go to help somebody, right, that, you know, is really, really interested, and you know and believe in them that they can do this, and you know how this is going to transform their life mentally and physically. And they give you a price objection, but they just got a brand new $300 tattoo. Right? And you're like, another piece of resistance. And that's all real. Like, that happens. We have to acknowledge the feelings behind that. But the difference between you and another entrepreneur is another entrepreneur might let those pieces of resistance sway them, take them off course, tear them down. You're allowed to feel crappy for 5 minutes. I used to always say to Michelle Pleiter, I'm like, let's talk it out. We got 5 minutes. Say the F's, say that it's not theirs, say all of that stuff because it's true. And then we move on. Do you know what I mean? So that's the difference between you as an entrepreneur in this business and every other entrepreneur. Because if you copy and paste the formula, whether you want to open a coffee shop on the corner, whether you want to decide you're going to open a clothing store or anything else, you're going to be a mortgage broker, it doesn't matter. You are going to get resistance. Somebody is not going to agree with your career choice. Somebody is going to say, no, I can't afford it, or no, I don't want it, even when you know it can help them. That is going to happen. Okay. So why am I saying this? Because it derails us so much from our long-term vision. And that's what I want you guys to really focus in on. And that's what I want you to hear from my message tonight, is long-term vision. Okay. So when I first started, like I told you, I was broke as a joke. So my first was to get my husband signed up, because my upline told me to sign my spouse. So I didn't care if he was ready to divorce me. I was going to also put his on a credit card and pay his off and pay mine off. And I did the first month, and $500 extra. Like, I was bound and determined to do what I was supposed to do, because success leaves clues. But I was going to prove to the people in my life who told me, who are naysayers, right? The people who were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Right? I was going to keep my blinders on and follow the people who went before me that I saw success in. And this was my team. Okay. So as a Canadian, I joined an American team, of course, because it was the first day that Canadians could even become coaches. And all I saw was people who had extreme belief and long-term vision in themselves. And before I could actually have my own, I borrowed theirs. Before I actually had my own story, 9 years later, I borrowed theirs. And so when I had a day where I was like, this just isn't working, I'm putting all this time in, and I didn't see it in Success Club points, or I didn't get any new working coaches this month, or my paycheck wasn't great, or my volume was low, or whatever it is, right? Fill in the blank. That I knew that the only way to what I wanted for my long-term vision was to keep going and put my blinders on. Okay. So I remember I'll tell you this little story, and then I want you to really think about what it is you want. And I implore you to do something or have something that reminds you of that daily. I remember my sponsor brought me to a Beachbody event. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how important it was. I was her guest. My mother-in-law at the time gave me air miles so that I could get down there. I had $60, three $20 American bills, and they were saved for my birthday. And like, I'm in my 30s, like I'm a grown person, I have children. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a business, like I'm an adult, I've got a mortgage. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like scrimping with my 3 American US dollars. And she said that she would have everything else covered if I could just go. And I remember sitting next to her, we were watching Shailene Johnson on stage, and it was Thursday afternoon, and her paycheck had come in. And my paycheck came in, thank God, because I wasn't eating. I didn't know how I was getting home by myself on my 19-hour plane ride by myself that I couldn't afford a taxi cab to. So because her plane left 19 hours before mine, I went with her so I didn't have to pay. And I stayed in the airport in California by myself for 19 hours in a chair. So I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford a $150 Uber from wherever we were staying at whatever resort. Do you know what I mean? And I was so excited that I had like a $125 check. And she's like, do you want to see my paycheck? And she showed it to me. And there was I can't remember. I think it was $68 worth of commission sales. And there was $22,000 in Team Cycle bonus for 1 week. So I'm going to say that again. There was, I think it was 260 or 60, I can't remember, in commission sales. And there was $22,000 in Team Cycle bonus for 1 week. So I borrowed her vision. I borrowed her vision because I knew that as much as I loved doing hair and I was really good at it, and I had my own business. I had like stepped up the ladder. I had my own business. I remember one of my stockbroker guys coming in. I mean, he would like sell his like software to the government for like millions of dollars. And he looked at me, he goes, you must be rolling in it. And I was living in like this house that had like a hole in the friggin' plywood floor in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? I was like, are you kidding me, Tom? Because you never know what somebody's situation is. So I borrowed her vision. So how many people have wanted just to be like, you know what, this is too hard. I just can't right now. I've got a lot going on in my life. Right? Maybe you have a relationship problem. Maybe your children are sick. Okay. Maybe you just feel super overwhelmed right now. Maybe you feel like you're supposed to know everything, but you don't. That's a lie, by the way, you're telling yourself. And you're really thinking, this is just a good time for me just to pack it in. You know, it's fine. What's going to happen if I just say, I'm just going to step away from my business? I'm going to put my business on the back burner just for a moment. Right? So I'm going to take you through an exercise, and I want you to answer those questions for yourself. I'm not here to answer those questions for you. You know the answer, but I'm going to bring you guys through a couple of exercises. First and foremost, I want you to close your eyes for a second, and I will play some like annoying cheesy music just for 2 seconds. Or we're on recording, so I won't, because I don't want you to get blocked from YouTube. I will not sing to you.
You want me to pause the recording or?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pause it for like 2 seconds because I'm just going to put like a minute of music on.
Okay.
So guys, I want you guys to take a minute, and it will just be a minute. And whether today is your day 1, your day 101, or your day 1001, I want you to think about what your why is. And yes, we want to do this for our family. Yes, we want to do this for our kids, all the things. I have all those whys too. But what is it you really want? What does it mean for you to have a business of your own? What does that feel like? What does that look like for you? Not for Amber or Mackenzie or Savannah, but what does that look like for Sammy? What does that look like for Andrea and Maya and Stephanie and Matcha, right? Like, what does that look like for you? And I want you to really think about it and write it down. Write it down if you can. Yeah, I'm going to play music. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So I want that to give you goosebumps, whatever that why is for you. Okay. So I'm going to get you to ask yourself a couple of questions. And you know what? I have them in a Google Doc in two places. So I'll do a little copy and paste here for you. So the question I'm going to ask you is, what is the difference in that vision that you have for your life? What is different in that vision than what it is you see today? So what is different? What's happening different? Do you live in a different place? Do you feel differently about yourself? Do you feel mentally, physically better? Do you feel more fulfilled? Are you in a better relationship? Are you in a better job? Are you happier? Do you sleep better? All the things. Okay, just even three things. What's different in that vision than what your life is like today? Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. And feel free, please, to drop these in the comments. Okay, so I would love to know your feedback on some of these if you're willing to share. What are some of the things that you spend your time doing right now? I'm guilty. Mine's Netflix. What are some of the things that you spend your time doing that are not bringing income into your Beachbody business and not bringing income into your home? So what are some of the things that you're spending your time? It's truth time, guys. What are some of the things that you're doing that you're spending time on doing that is not bringing income into your Beachbody business and not bringing income into your home? Love it. Netflix, mindless scrolling, scrolling reels, TikTok. I'm an addict at scrolling. Napping. Yes, Jamie. Social media, school, Netflix. Absolutely. Reels. Yeah. Online shopping. Oh my God, me. Truth time, pretty much everything. Andrea, I feel you, girlfriend. Yeah. Playing with my cats. Absolutely. School, job, TikTok, my pup, napping, shopping, Netflix. Yep. Watching sports, napping with cat. Thank you guys for all of this. Do you want to know what another one of mine is? I'm focusing. Sometimes I focus too much on my personal journey and I forget to share it. Like sometimes I do all this personal development and I make all these meals and I'm so distracted from my why and my vision that I forget to take a damn picture and share that amazing recipe and how it made me feel and how well it fit into my life. Do you know what I mean? Like the simplest things. Sometimes I'm just busy being self-absorbed and not sharing my story, right? That's one that I was really had to, yeah, right? You've done that once or twice, but I really had to kind of be like, okay, Danielle, this is simple. It's not as, it's not as deep on my deviant scale as Netflix, but it's still there. My Netflix is really on the top of my deviant scale. Okay. What are some things, what are some things okay, I have it all here. Okay. What are some things that are distracting you from income producing activities? The activities that you know you need to do to create income and growth in your business life. Okay, so that's very similar. Okay, so this is what I'm going to get. Insert distraction. What's the worst case scenario if you don't insert your worst distraction? So what's the worst case scenario if you don't scroll Instagram, if you don't scroll TikTok or Reels, if you don't, waste time playing with your pups or your cats or watching Netflix? What is the worst case scenario if you don't do that? Because sometimes don't you feel like, well, I just need to check this before I go to bed, or I will just scroll these reels and then I'll do something for my business. Do you guys ever right? Okay. So if you didn't do that, if you didn't do that distraction, what's the worst case scenario? Would you feel like maybe some anxiety or feel maybe disconnected from your friends, or maybe not know what the latest style was, or what the new cat video was out? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so I want you to ask yourself that. And if you don't know for sure, I just want you to think about it. I want you to think about, what would it feel like a whole day without Netflix? Like, that's a hard one for me. Like, what would that feel like? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the worst case if that didn't happen for me? So I want you to put yourself in that scenario in your life. Okay. Now, next question. What is the best case scenario if you didn't watch your Netflix for one day? And I'm not saying you don't have to watch Netflix for the rest of your life. I'm just using one day as a scenario. Do you know what I mean? I'm like just using one episode, 2 episodes, rather than binge watching the whole entire seasons of 9 Perfect Strangers on Prime, by the way. Don't even. Awesome. Okay. So what would be the best case scenario? So all these things that you wrote me here, I want you to drop below in the chat. What do you think might happen with your business? What do you think might happen with your day, with your journey, with your nutrition, with your challenge groups, with your team, if you took out that distraction and inserted something that was better for your business, an income producing activity? What do you think might happen? I would have more energy, more productivity. Love it. Yeah. Ability to focus and prioritize more important tasks. Oh, focus. Yeah, that's a really good one. More focus, less negativity. Sadie, that's a good one. Of course, no less negativity, more confidence, more success. These are good things. Energy, more time, feel more productive, right? Because sometimes we beat ourselves up for the things that we're doing. And you know what? It's your fearless leader here, Shauna, that always says it's the little things that are so easy not to do. D, all of the above, right? And I think sometimes we have to kind of just list them out. Sometimes we have to just list them out, okay? So I also want to for you to picture, I know I'm doing all this visualization, it's hokey pokey, whatever, it's fine. But I want even a tiny little bit of this to stick with you. Because you can go on any YouTube and rah-rah sis-boom-bah. I want you to go inside your head right now, okay? Here's another worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario if you quit? Drop it in the chat. What would you miss the most? No money? Yep. What would you miss the most? Helping others? Yep. Community. Me is community. Team. All that you've gained. Community. Yeah, that's a big one, right? Right? Fulfillment, confidence, the opportunity. Yeah, friends. The opportunity to help others. The friends I made. Absolutely. Right? Right? I love it. It's going so cool. You guys are awesome. I'm going to go to open it up. Can't imagine working for somebody else ever. Savannah, was that you? Yeah. No, that was Shelby. I know. Cannot imagine working for somebody else ever. Right? Gain so much confidence, friendship, community. Love it. So that's pretty powerful. So you would be missing those things if you quit. Okay. So what I want you to do, whichever one of those, and you can take from somebody else's. So if you don't have yours yet, because you're new and you're like, oh my God, I'm not quitting. Today's day one. I'm like ready to go. Okay. You will have a bad day. And I want you to write down 3 of those things that are somebody else's story. And I want you to put them somewhere on a Post-it note, inside your drawer or whatever, and tell your upline, please make me read my Post-it note on a really bad day. Okay, please make and go. Like that's what having your partner is for. Okay. What if you didn't quit? What if on that day where you're feeling overwhelmed And I love when Jamie Fitzpatrick says this, your cousin Becky told you that the Beachbody market was saturated and that you didn't even really look like a Beachbody coach anyway. I mean, how many programs did you really do? It's not like you're a personal trainer anyways. So don't expect too much. That's what cousin Becky told you. Okay. And you're like, well, shit. I just got through phase 2 of 645 and I was feeling like $1 million 5 minutes ago. Fuck, Becky is right. Right? Right? So on that day, if you listened and you said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. F you, Becky. I'm not going to do this. And you kept going another day. How would you feel the next day after being like, I am not letting that resistance. I'm not letting that no. I'm not letting that major obstacle, small obstacle, feeling of overwhelm because I'm on my period and my cat needs to go to the vet and my dog literally shit in her diaper because she started her heat right before this freaking call because I forgot to take her diaper off because I was preoccupied with something else and she pooped in her diaper. Like this stuff happens as I'm getting ready for this call. Okay, like when you're feeling overwhelmed and everything's going wrong and you're not sure anything's going right, but you show up the next day and you do your workout and you post on social media and you go into your group and you see your faces. You see Leah and you see Charlie and Holly and Stephanie and you're like, hey guys, what does that feel like when you gave cousin Becky one of these? Right? Charlie's everybody's favorite, Savannah. Absolutely, right? Okay, now, what about 1 year from now? Today's September 20th. What about September 20th, 22? You've gone on a Success Club trip. You've hit diamond. You're growing a team. You've helped, I don't know, probably 60 or 70 more people get fit and healthy. Maybe you're more fit and healthy. Okay, what about September 20th, 2023? You're still here because you're still giving this one to cousin Becky. Okay, what does it look like then? You've been maybe to leadership, definitely to a coach summit. You earned a retreat with your team. You earned another Success Club trip. Your income is growing by like $100 every single week. You feel more confident. Your skin's better because you've now been taking Shakeology for two years in a row, and you don't have to get hair extensions anymore because you've got Danielle's hair, which is Shakeology hair, right? It's Shakeology hair. It's all real. It's from 9 years of Shakeology every damn day, right? And you're like, I feel like $1 million. What about September 20th, 2024, 3 years from now? Because you have vision and you're here. And now what you're going to see, Shauna and I and Shelby and Alicia and Rachel and I think Kelsey who's coming with us in our group, you're going to be on that trip. And you're going to be like, wow, I remember a call on a Monday night in September and they were just about to go. And now I'm going on that trip. I get to know that a mola Caesar smells like coconut. I just don't have to listen to Danielle talk about it. Right? Because you're there with your arms around him, give him a hug, and he's giving you a high five. Yeah, he is. Sorry, Charlie, he's your husband. Yeah. But that's what I want for you. So that's where I need your head to be for that long-term vision and belief. And maybe right now you're thinking, well, do you know what? Like, I can't see that far. I'm just trying to make Success Club right now. You're going to make Success Club because where there's a will, there's a way. And then you're going to focus again on Success Club in October. It's Team Cup in November and December. And you know what's going to happen? You have such a strong belief in what you know is possible in this business because you've seen what's go before you and people not quit, that it doesn't matter, because 1 month is going to turn into 2, it's going to turn into 3, it's going to turn into 107. And then it's 2024. And you have that business that when I played my corny, I want to see you be brave song, you're going to be like, this is what I wished for. And it's here. This is where I saw myself. And I just moved into that house. This is the feeling I wanted about myself. And I woke up this morning feeling that confident. Because I know the day-to-day can get overwhelming, guys. That doesn't make you special. That makes you human. That makes you human. And the great part about this business is that you have all of these 36 humans and many, many more who are all there to link arms with you and do it with you every single day. There is nothing like it in the whole entire world. So I want to impress, I think that's all my questions. I won't make it work in here. I skipped a couple. Choose your scenario. See yourself there. Step outside of your current mindset and work on having that growth mindset every single day. Instead of thinking, what if, think, what if I don't? And borrow somebody else's. If you can't see that for yourself right now, borrow my story. Borrow my coach's story. Because nothing has impressed upon me more than that. I keep talking about it. Does anybody have any questions for me about anything? Nothing's off the table.
Okay, I have a question. Sorry, I'm lying in bed. I'm exhausted. Here. Okay, I know a lot of my coaches personally and others are just really struggling with the fact of like they're stuck and they're tired and there's so much going on, and so they're not seeing like the benefit of the business right now. And I get it. Like I get being in that tough season. I get like needing to refocus and take time for yourself, but I also know there's a limit before, oh, I'm going to take time for myself and just like falling off the grid and forever kind of thing. What would be your biggest advice to kind of, something to say to them or something to like encourage them, or like, should I say like, okay, take this time, but then like at this time, get back into it? Like, I don't know, what would your biggest advice be?
My biggest advice is, and Rachel typed in the comments there, so this is a delayed reaction business. But the good news is it's not as delayed as every other business and entrepreneur who's out there. Like if you opened a restaurant, they say like it's 5 years before you even like cut even on your business. So good news is that's not us. Okay. But that's why we need to have that big vision, Charlie. So I would really dive deep into them with some mindset work. Okay. If there is, as far as personal development goes, Charlie, the slight edge is really good for that. The slight edge, I mean, it's an oldie but a goodie, but the slight edge is really, really good for that, because they don't really need, when somebody is in that state of overwhelm, and I'll tell you one more thing about new coaches. They don't really need a cheerleader as much as we believe in them. They need to see that for themselves. They need exactly what I'm talking about. So give them this call and then tell them to go leave the, they need to have that vision past, this is a lot of work and I've made Success Club for 8 months and my paycheck is still the same. We used to say, be here in 1 year. And now if you ask Christina Delgado, she's like, I say, be here in 10 years. Right. And the whole thing is ask them that question. Well, if you quit now, then what? If you stay now and stay the course, then what? Like, what's the alternative? Like, even when I get frustrated and I'm like, forget it, there's too much on my plate, this is too much, I can't do it anymore, I'm just going to go open a salon again. And then I'm like, and what? Work 12-hour days and like, I can't even move and I'm like barely paying my bills. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's thinking I'm rolling in it. Oh, my computer's going to die. Just 1 second. Do you know what I mean? And my thing is downstairs. I hope I don't lose you guys. I'm gonna come in to my sister-in-law staying in my office. I'm gonna come here. Okay. I thought that happened. Sorry. I have one more thing to say about that, Charlie.
Take your time.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Awesome. Nobody told me as a new coach. Here, I'll even give some good light here. I'm in my office. Nobody ever told me that it's harder in the beginning. Nobody ever told me that being a new coach was harder, and as you get momentum, it gets easier. Nobody ever told me that. And that's like hard. Do you know what I mean? It's just like having kids. It's really hard. You know, Sammy's there with her kid. It's really, really, really hard. You know, you're not getting any sleep. You're changing 20 diapers a day. And then all of a sudden, they put on their own seatbelt and they wipe their bum. It happens.
Is it just me or I can't hear Danielle?
Okay. Yeah, I can't hear her either.
I thought it was just my headphones, but yeah, I can't use it.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, I'll take these out. Did you hear about the diapers and the poop? Okay, okay, good. Something happened there. So the thing is, I remember getting momentum in my business, and I got kind of angry. And I remember looking at senior coaches around me because I was kind of on my own in Canada. And I was like, why didn't you tell me it gets easier? And they were like, well, they didn't have an answer for me. And I'm like, if in the moments where I was crying in the closet on month 6, because I didn't know what I was doing and I felt overwhelmed, if you would have just told me it gets easier, I could have just not cried as many times in the closet. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't going to give up because that wasn't an option. I was in a situation. I needed to get out of the situation. This was the way to get out of the situation. The obstacle is the way. But it gets easier. So give me a show of hands, coaches who have momentum in their business, who you can get a BOD renewal, and then you get a Success Club point. Or you have people who follow you for a while, or leads, or somebody who has been a challenger for 3 years and finally decides to work the business with you and crushes it, right? It happens when you have momentum because you're putting the hard work in. So Charlie, I would really, really remind your new coaches of that. Encourage them that it's normal to feel that way, but really it's a mindset thing, and the slight edge is a great one for really honing in on those small changes that you make day in, day out, making big progress.
I've never actually read The Slight Edge, so I'm going to read that. Thank you.
It's a good one. My mom even read it. And she's like, doesn't even drink Shakeology. Has nothing to do with Shakeology. It has to do with life. I love it. I might reread that one too. Any other questions? I'm an open book. I've rebuilt my business 4 times. 4 times. There are some people who were diamonds on my team, like probably 6 people who are diamonds on my team who aren't even customers anymore of mine. It happens. It happens.
Danielle, I know we have like girls on our team who maybe are at a spot where they feel like they've hit a roadblock or they've been stuck or they're overwhelmed, like what you talked about. Can you share an example of a time, because I know I've heard a lot of stories from you of where you felt like you've come to that breaking point and it's either dig in and do it or like get out? And how do you stay like connected to your vision or find out even what that vision is in that point in time?
Yeah, that's pretty hard when you're feeling pretty low, right? And usually when you're feeling that way, you're feeling a certain amount of disappointment, hurt, rejection, because let's say people who you thought were going to work in business with you, or customers who you thought were going to sign up, or people you thought were going to run with you aren't, right? So what you need to do in that point is you need to realize that this is a momentum business. So you need to bring in new players. And I know that's hard because that's one of the hardest things.
is how do we find people? You have those conversations. You go for the ask. How many people can say right now there's somebody on their, and I'm here, I'm putting my hand up, that there's somebody on their Instagram that they want to invite to the coaching opportunity, but they're scared shitless to have a conversation with. They are afraid to slip into the DM. Slip into that DM. That's the day where you have to put it in that bucket and you're like, I am going to do the hard things today. I'm going to message, Susie Q McGillicuddy, who has all these followers and watches everything I do, but I've always been intimidated to invite her to the business. I'm going to ask her if she wants to come on a Zoom call or a FaceTime with me. Not just send her a business opportunity webinar, but I'm going to ask her to get on the phone with me, which is the worst thing you could ever do with me is get on the phone. You better be my mother, and it better be your birthday if you want to get on the phone with me. Or a FaceTime or Facebook Live or whatever you use, Instagram Live, and ask if she wants to connect. You're gonna, because there's more than one of those people. So that is what you're gonna do. An influx of new people on your team. And when you get no, you're gonna keep going until you get one yes. You're gonna find that one person who is ready to go with you, who is going to add more fire to your team, more fire to your groups, be excited about their journey. All of a sudden, they're like, have never seen these color-coded containers before, and they think they're the best thing ever, and they just bring so much excitement to everything. It's all about that new blood. It's good for you, and it's good for everybody else on the team. And that is always my biggest thing. People who don't see lulls in their business are people who are so busy recruiting and building and bringing new people in that they don't have time to have it lull because it's always growing. Fluctuating, but growing. Does that make sense? Yeah, because a lot of times I'm the same way. We put all of our, put all your eggs in one basket, but we get comfortable. We have our team, we have our players on our team. Like, this is good, but things happen, and we need that new energy. Energy it's inertia, right? An object in motion stays in motion. So that would be my biggest advice, Shelby, for somebody who's in a rut. And, as far as doing it, it's just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get off the couch. Mel Robbins.
I have a question for that to kind of go off that. So when you've hit those like roadblocks in your business, like what are the things that you've kind of shifted to change, or you've just like continued recruiting?
Usually, Andrea, I shift what I'm sharing as my story. So for an example, maybe I need to recommit to a new program. Maybe I need to share a struggle that maybe I wasn't sharing before, and showing how I'm using personal development towards that. So it doesn't mean you have to like change your whole niche if that's not something, a spot where you are. And sometimes it is a spot where you are, Andrea, where you're like, okay, you know what? Like, I've changed. And so I need to make the message and the people I'm trying to bring in change. And so I always say that, be relatable. So there's something that you're not sharing, share that. And there's something you need to work on that you're hiding. Work on it and share that. And those are always the things that I do. Then people are like, hands up. I need that too. Right? Because sometimes it's not ego. I don't want to say it's ego. I think it's just being human, that we guard ourselves and we don't want to be like, oh, people show me working out every day. Oh my God, did they know I had garlic fingers last night? Oh, that didn't make the Instagram reel. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all have that part of us that we kind of shy away from because we think if people knew, then people would be turned off by us. And I'm not saying eat garlic fingers every day, because you will not get to your goal by doing that. You will get to the goal of being 250 pounds. That's happened to me for 3 years straight in university. So that is something that will happen because I did it. But So that's what I would say, Andrea, is tweak something like that. Maybe just shed one more layer, peel your own onion a little bit more and see, and stick with it for 30 days. That's another thing, guys. Stick with whatever you're going to do for 30 days. Don't be like, well, I'm going to do reels for 3 days. Well, that didn't work. Do you know what I mean? You got to do it for 30 days. I feel like Brock Johnson. You got to do it for 30 days and then assess. I hope that helped answer it, Andrea. Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you for
Thank you.
like I could listen to you talk all night.
Well, you say that now until next week.
True, just kidding.
You'll be like gagging me.
No, but it's so true to talk about vision because it can be so easy to like sit there and think like, you know, I'm stuck in a rut, or like I can't hit Success Club, or like I might as well throw in the towel. But when you think about it long term, it's so important to talk about that. So I appreciate that.
And I really, really hope, guys, that you see, I mean, I know the world is still really scary, but the world's going to be scary for a really long time. So I hope that when you see that things are opening and we're traveling places, and there is going to be a summit next year, and there is going to be a March 2020 trip, I hope you can use those things as goals to work for and strive towards, and be like, I'm not going to be on the couch in Ontario or Nova Scotia or BC in March watching 60 of my tribe mates in Punta Cana because I just wanted to finish watching Queen of the South. Do you know what I mean? I want you to use that as a goal. Because see what's happening, because we're also tired. We have COVID fatigue. We have all the fatigue. We have the world fatigue. And now there's like a freaking, I forgot there was even an election tonight. Oh my God. I voted. But do you know what I mean? I want you guys to not be, because I've heard this from people. Well, I'm not working towards that trip. They're just going to cancel it anyways. I've had some of my like top people say that to me, and I'm like, shame. I would work and dive and grind for every free thing. I would regret. Oh my God. I would hate for that day to come and it wasn't canceled. And I just didn't do that much more because I thought, what's the point? Right? So I want you guys to have that tenacity. And that will keep fire in you. And trust me, it'll be there. RIP Team Cup Month. We're all going to get $100. That's crazy, right? Is it 100 each or 100 divided by 5? Divided.
I think it's each.
Each?
Yeah.
And that's USD. So what are you buying with it? So that's what I want. I don't even want you to think about the $100. I want you to find something that's $100 US, and I want you to have a picture of that on your computer, on your phone, plus your commissions that you're going to make that month. Exactly, Rachel. I want you. What do you want? Do you want that Michael Kors bag? Do you need to pay off student loan? Do you have, something else, a car payment? You want to see if you can make enough money for a whole car payment for a month? What is it? Set that goal and crush that for October. Crush that for October. Have it in mind what you're going for. If $100, if a $100 bill doesn't make you happy, it makes me happy. I know I'm going to use Botox. I know I'm going to use it for $100 worth of Botox. I don't have to fight with my husband about it. Right? So please, when you guys find it, message me and be like, Danielle, I'm buying these Nike sneakers with my $100 that I'm going to get from Team Cup. That's what I want you guys to do. Make it personal.
Anyone else have questions? Awesome. Well, thanks, Danielle, again, and I will see you next week. And then for anyone who is currently in Success Club, stay on and we will do a little bit of a chat. and I will post the recording tomorrow at some point.
Thank
Good night, guys.
you. Bye, guys.